Once upon a time, in a small village in India, there lived a young man named Arjun. He was a man of great ambition, filled with dreams and determination. Everyone around him admired his intelligence and work ethic. Arjun seemed destined for success. However, there was one thing that held him back, something that made him hesitate at every turn. Arjun was terrified of public speaking. No matter how small the group or how big the audience, the thought of standing in front of others froze him with fear. He wasn't afraid of the content he had to speak about, but the idea of being judged, making mistakes, or simply being laughed at consumed him. Arjun knew that overcoming this fear was essential for his growth and future success, but he had no idea where to start. One day, Arjun heard about a motivational speaker named Swami Vishwananda who was coming to town. Swami Vishwananda was known for inspiring people to face their deepest fears and live their best lives. Arjun, feeling desperate to conquer his fear, decided to attend the seminar. He hoped that this might be the key to unlocking his confidence and overcoming the fear that had ruled his life for so long. On the day of the seminar, Arjun was filled with nervous energy. As he entered the hall, he was surrounded by hundreds of eager faces, all ready to hear the wisdom of Swami Vishwananda. His heart raced and his palms became sweaty. He couldn't shake the thought, what if I'm not able to handle this? What if I fail? It felt like a mountain of fear was standing in his way. Then Swami Vishwananda walked into the room. His presence was calm and composed, and it immediately put the crowd at ease. He began his speech by sharing a story of his own struggles, of the fears he had to overcome during his early years. The audience listened in rapt attention, and Arjun was hooked. Swami Vishwananda spoke about the human tendency to fear failure and judgment, and how these fears often held people back from reaching their full potential. The speaker continued, "Fear is not something that can be avoided. It is something that must be confronted. Fear is the greatest barrier to personal growth and success. But remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act in spite of it." These words hit Arjun deeply. He realized that fear wasn't something to run from. It was something to face head-on. Swami Vishwananda then shared a powerful lesson with the audience. The first step to conquering fear is understanding it. Why do you fear? Is it the fear of failure or the fear of not being accepted? The truth is, fear thrives on uncertainty. It grows when you avoid it, but once you face it, you begin to shrink it. Arjun's heart raced as he listened intently. He began to understand that his fear of speaking in public wasn't really about speaking. It was about seeking approval from others. He feared rejection. In his attempt to avoid criticism, he had built an invisible wall around himself. But now he realized that the only way to conquer his fear was to face it directly. Swami Vishwananda also shared practical strategies for overcoming fear. He encouraged everyone to start small. Begin by speaking in front of a mirror, then speak to a friend or a family member. Gradually increase the difficulty. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. These words filled Arjun with hope. He had always believed that facing his fear was impossible, but Swami Vishwananda had given him a clear and simple path to follow. The next day, Arjun stood in front of a mirror. His heart pounded as he began to speak aloud, but he kept going. At first, it felt awkward, uncomfortable, and unnatural, but he pushed through. And as he did, he began to notice a change. With each new attempt, he felt a little less afraid, a little more confident. Days turned into weeks, and Arjun continued to practice. He spoke in front of the mirror, then to close friends and family. With each passing day, his fear slowly began to fade. He realized that the more he practiced, the more comfortable he became with his own voice. He no longer cringed at the idea of speaking. Instead, he was starting to embrace it. Months passed and Arjun's confidence grew stronger. He no longer feared speaking in small groups. He began taking on bigger challenges, speaking in front of larger crowds. His fear was no longer a barrier. It was now something he could manage. Arjun's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. Then one day he was invited to speak at a local event. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. Standing in front of a large audience, Arjun felt his heart race. But this time there was no panic. He was nervous, yes, but he wasn't paralyzed by fear. He had faced his fear countless times and now he was ready. When the event was over, the crowd erupted into applause. Arjun's heart swelled with pride and relief. For the first time, he realized that the fear he had once thought was impossible to overcome had simply been a figment of his imagination. By facing his fear and pushing through, he had conquered it and grown in ways he never thought possible. Arjun's story teaches us all a valuable lesson. Fear is a natural part of life. Whether it's public speaking, starting a new job, or taking on a big challenge, we all have our fears, but the key to overcoming them is not to avoid them. It's about facing them, one step at a time. The journey might not be easy, but it's the most rewarding one you will ever take. Success doesn't come to those who fear failure. It comes to those who are brave enough to face it head on. So the next time you find yourself held back by fear, think of Arjun. Take that first step, no matter how small. The journey to overcoming fear might be challenging, but it's worth it. So remember, fear is just an obstacle standing between you and your greatness. Don't let it control your life. The next time you face fear, take that step forward, just like Arjun did, and conquer it. If you like this story, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another motivational story to inspire you. Stay brave, stay strong, and never give up.